Alright, it's time to kick some narcissist ass. This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. As winning Super Bowl champion coach Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys back in the 70s and 80s used to say, your best defense is a good offense. Here's why. If you're on the defense, that means the other team is going to score. And if they're constantly trying to score against you, odds are they're going to win. So you want to be on the field with the ball. And you want to be on the offense attacking them. Right now the narcissists are freaking out in their boots because they've heard my channel quite a bit. And they're starting to go, oh no, what's he going to tell them now? I'm going to tell you, it's time to go on offense, go on the attack, and kick some ass. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about today, kicking ass. One of the things I'm going to teach you today is called the agreement frame. The other thing I'm going to do is I found an article with some doctors that have finally agreed with what I've been saying for 2.5 years. The very same reason why you guys were attracted to this channel and why you like it. Remember, you found it here first because this is the original. And then I'm going to wrap it up with 1, 2, maybe 3 memes with some messages on there and kind of give you a little bit of explanation and teaching. Remember, click that like button. It is the #1 thing that YouTube goes by to give me more traffic, to get the word out to more people. The more people click the like button, the more YouTube realizes, oh, people like this channel. Alright. Alright, so here's what this technique does. It's something I learned in, I believe I learned it during one of our neurolinguistic programming trainings. I'm trying to think if I read it in a book. Oh, yes, I did. I read it in a book called, hold on, let me find it. Alright, it's a book called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. This book is designed to help you get over that and learn how to say no effectively, okay? It's called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty by Manuel J. Smith, PhD. Alright, so for those of you that are shy, that you have shame, anxiety, and you're afraid to say no to people, this book will show you out of that box. This technique is essentially the technique you're going to learn in the book, and it's very similar to what we call the agreement frame in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Very effective. Here's what it does. It rips the rug out right from underneath their feet and they fall back on their head and go crack! You smack the back of their head on the ground. What this technique does is it takes the power away from them. So here's what it does. It's literally like taking, it's like lightning. So lightning like strikes, but then you take away the boom. So it's like you see the lightning, but there's no boom, there's no explosion, there's no boom, there's just lightning. There's nothing there. So you literally take the power away from us. So suddenly the thunder is gone. It's the agreement frame. Alright, so you know how the narcissist is always trying to trap you with words, with guilt, with shame, and trying to trick you and manipulate you with saying a certain thing to kind of get you in what we call a double bind, where like there's no way out. Oh, there's a way out, and it's going to shock the hell out of you. And it is so easy, anybody can do it. So especially on the hoovering, the narcissist is going to be nice in the very beginning, and it might even be in the first conversation where he will shift from being nice, because all they're doing is they're waiting for you to open up to them again, and then they start blaming you. So they do the blame shift and they start saying, well, you know, you weren't exactly perfect either, you were this and you were that, blah 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 blah. Now here's what they want you to do. They want you to go on the defensive. No, absolutely not. Godlike coach Tom Landry at the Dallas Cowboys says the best offense, or the best defense, is a great offense. You want to go on the offense, and here's how you're going to do it. It's like you're going to make them fumble the ball over and over again. This absolutely takes the power away from them. Essentially what you're going to do, you're going to agree with them 100%, and they're going to go, huh? Because when you do that, there's nothing to grab a hold of. all of a sudden there's no more argument. It's because you're agreeing with them. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to defend yourself. Because here's a couple things that happens. Number one, when you defend yourself, now they've got you in an argument. Now they can play their mind games. Now they can suck the energy out of you and exhaust you. Number two, if they can get you on the defensive, you're defending I'm not bad, which means they're putting the negation thing I've talked about in the past, how like what you get what you focus on, so focus on what you want. So what are you doing? You're focusing on what you don't want, and you're defending what you don't want. You're saying, oh, I'm not a bad person, I'm not this, I'm not that, and all of a sudden that image gets ingrained into your system. So now on an unconscious level, you begin to feel like this is the way I am. It is an absolute mind trick. What I'm doing is I am training you guys to become Jedi warriors. Literally, there's a technique that I use with my energy, where I can walk up to someone. You know how the Jedi goes, "Let us, we shall pass," and then the Centurion goes, "Sure, go ahead." There's something that I actually do where I've gotten into restaurants when they're completely packed, when there's an hour-long wait, and I got right up to the headline immediately, instantly. Maybe I'll do that in another session. Essentially, there was literally a 45-minute wait, and I was starving hungry. I was like, oh, I can't do this. And so I walked up to the hostess and I said a couple things. She said, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I might break it down in another video if you guys want me to. I said, I was wondering how soon. Right away. You can go ahead and seat us now. Now I'm doing embedded commands. I'm doing some other things too. Okay, I'm shifting conscious to unconscious, etc. So she looks up, she looks at me, she goes, oh, right away. And she sat us down immediately. And I remember as we were walking away, I felt the tension because all these people had been sitting down for like a long time. And I looked over my shoulder and people were starting to talk, like, hey, who the hell's that guy? And they were pissed. So my girlfriend at the time, she's looking at the menu, and she looked at the wait list, or at the people waiting. She goes, hey, wait a minute, how come we didn't have to wait? And she goes, did you do that NLP stuff again? I go, well, did you want to wait 45 minutes? And she just laughed. About 9 months later, I went to a country music festival concert at the Oakland A's Coliseum in Oakland. And it was during intermission between bands when they're setting up the next band's musical instruments, the stage. And it was packed. Everyone was getting hot dogs and beer and all that stuff. And we were trying to go around just pack. And this girl was coming up. And I told my buddy about this on the way there, on the way to that concert, what happened. And he didn't believe me. And as we were slowly going by, these two girls were going the other way, because they were like right next to us as they were going the other way. She goes, hey, what did you do to me? I almost got fired. Those people got so pissed off. And I go, I'm a master hypnotherapist. And she goes, oh, I knew you did something. She actually laughed though. She thought it was funny. So my buddy, he goes, was that real? I'm like, yeah, I told you, dude. I really did. What? So you're essentially going to start learning like verbal judo, verbal jiu-jitsu, to where you're flipping people all over the place. So the technique is basically like this. It's kind of a... I think it's a judo. It's called verbal judo, where you go with them. So most people, what they do is they fight against. You don't want to fight against them. You literally want to go with them. It's like they're grabbing your shirt or your lapel and they're trying to pull you, but you're walking with them, and it makes them feel powerless. In kickboxing, I was getting ready for a national championship fight, and my coach, Jacob Stitchround, was holding the pads, right? And he goes, all right, Mike, you do this combination. And I went to do it, and he was slightly pulling the hand pads back. And when I went to punch, it was like I felt really weak, and he kept doing it. He goes, hey, Mikey, what's wrong? You're not feeling strong today? I'm like, man, it's like the weirdest thing. I'm trying as hard as I can. I don't know what happened. He goes, come on, let's do it again. So normally you give resistance. So pop, it's like pop, 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 pop. Well, what he did was he didn't give resistance, and he kind of gave, right? And it was barely touching it, and it was like, God, what the hell? And I was like, Coach, I think there's something wrong with me. I don't know if I can fight. Because I was like, he'd been doing it for a while. He's like, Mikey, I'm just fucking with you. And so then he goes, do it again. And pop, 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 pop. And then he gave resistance, okay? Here's the deal. It is a real... I don't want to say it like this because this isn't the intention. The intention is to protect you, but it's a real mind fuck because it really makes you feel weak. Well, I don't mean you when you do the technique. It makes them feel weak. Alright, so it really is as easy as peasy. The hardest thing's going to be is your ego. No, I don't want to admit that. Like, it doesn't matter. So in the book, Dr. I can't remember his name, I can't remember his last name now. But anyways, Dr. Manuel, whatever, PhD, he goes, I was a teacher for a long time, and every now and then you get a student that would say, oh, you're kind of a fairy, you're kind of, I don't want to say the FAG word, but you're kind of, that word, right? And instead of disagreeing, he this is what he said. He goes, I would look at them and realize, like, if I disagree, it's just going to give them more, fuel for the fire. He goes, so instead I agreed. I said, you're right. I am kind of light in the loafers, ain't I? Yeah, these pants do make me look a little bit fairy. And the whole class got really quiet. And then he would get other comments like that. Oh, you look like you're a blah blah blah. He goes, yeah, I am kind of effeminate. I am kind of an effeminate guy, aren't I? And it takes the thunder out of their poem. They're just like, oh, okay. So here's the deal. When you guys resist, that's when people attack you even more. When you go with it, when you do the agreement, they're like, oh shit, because there's nothing to attack. It's like saying, oh, you're a white person. You look at your skin, you're like, yeah, I am a white person. So it like completely gets rid of it. So just keep agreeing with them, and after a while, people start to look at them and be like, yeah, you really look like an ass, aren't you? And here's the thing that does to them. It really makes them feel weak. So the narcissist does his hoover. He comes back 5 months later and, if I just told you this one thing, you'd understand. Please just give me a chance to talk to you. This literally happens. Narcissist just begged. I'm like, oh God. So I let him. But I made it real clear. I go, this is the only time. I go, you better say whatever you have to say, because if you don't say it today, in 5, 10, 15 years, I'm not going to let you come back and say, oh, there's one more. No, whatever it is, if you need 15 minutes to write the stuff down on a piece of paper, I'll give you that 15 minutes. But you better bring up whatever the hell it is you got to bring up. So, of course, he never brought anything up. And he would just talk about other things. And basically, he was doing the love bombing hoovering thing. And then what ended up happening was he eventually went from that to devaluing me, to attacking me. It's a blame shifting technically is what he was doing. Well, you weren't perfect either. And I said, yep, you're right. I'm not perfect at all. Well, you did some bad things too. It's like, I know, I'm a monster, aren't I? And his look on his face was like, well, wait a minute, like, shit, this isn't fucking working here. And says, well, you blah, blah, blah did it. And here's the thing. It was something I absolutely didn't do. And I said, you know what? You're right. I did do that, didn't I? God, I'm a real asshole. But the thing was, I wasn't going, I was a real asshole. I was just like proud of it. Like, yeah, I did. Okay. Like, so in other words, even though the guy was lying, I didn't give a shit. So he just kept trying, and he said, well, this was really messed up when you did this thing, over there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that was really messed up. And he kept going on and on until I finally said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I am an absolute, complete monster. You know what my professional recommendation is for you as a life coach? My recommendation is that you never, ever talk to me or anyone else like that who talks to you that way. So you should just leave and never ever come back. And this person looked at me like, fuck, like shit. And he literally said, that's not exactly what I meant. I go, oh, okay, so what did you mean then? I'm a really good person and that you really like me and that's why you're back, because I'm actually one of the best people you've ever met in your life. And dude, their whole head just spun. You could just literally see the eyeballs like spinning circles. And they were like, fuck, that's not what I was trying to, that wasn't the message I wanted them to hear either. So that is how easy it is, okay? Now here's the deal. They're going to try to start, they're probably recording you, by the way, with their phone, okay? Which is what he did to me. So what they're probably going to do is they're going to probably trap you by talking shit about someone else. Say, isn't so-and-so a jerk? Isn't so-and-so an idiot or nerd or whatever? Now, at the time, I was in agreement mode, and I realized, like, oh, they're trying to make me look bad by saying something bad about this person. So if they start talking bad about someone, say, you know what? I don't know what your problem is, bro, but I'm out of here. Peace. So just get up and leave. Here's the thing, if somebody tries to come back and they say, hey, if you just knew this one thing, like if you just let me tell you this one thing, like you would understand, blah, 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 blah. hold them to it, because they're going to play the roundabout game, change the conversation, go to another one, then they're going to blame shift and go back. No, say, what did you come here to say? Hold them to it, and if they don't get to it, get up and leave. And don't ever, ever, ever give them another opportunity to talk to you. Just refuse. Oh, and by the way, this message is for someone very specific, and you know who you are. Yes, you've been wondering in your head, does he know? Yes, I absolutely know what you did, 100%. Yep, so you can stress about it even more and wonder what's going to happen next. And you know what else I know? Yeah, you want to do something, don't you? Yeah, I actually know about that. Yeah, let's see what happens. Watch this. It's my next trick. Shazam! Backfire. Alright people, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Remember, click that subscribe button, click that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, down in the description box there is a link to PayPal. If you want to make a donation to this channel, go ahead and make a donation. If you don't worry about it, it's totally okay. And another way you can support this channel is go to my website, buy one of my dating relationship books for men, buy the book Crack the Female Code, or buy the ultimate package. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have fun, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to make another video for the other two things I was going to do. Alright, I'll see you guys next video. Peace.